Okay, chapter 7.3, the unit circle. We are on page 10 of the notes. We will take a little more time with this. I will do my best to color code so you see where these numbers are coming from. First things first, I want to point out right here what you need to remember as you look at some of these values. And I did this when I was building the special right triangles. I picked that point that would fall right on the circle. You need to always keep in mind that this xy, the x value is the cosine of theta, the y value is the sine of theta. So take a minute to process when we talk about the unit circle, our hypotenuse is 1. So the cosine is the adjacent, that's our horizontal displacement, our x, over 1. The sine is our vertical displacement, the up and down, so that is y over 1, okay? I will do my best here to color code so that it's easy for you to follow along. We are going to start here, sine of 45. So here's our 45. The sine we just said is the y. So the sine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. And so notice as you look on the unit circle, everything is labeled with both degrees and radians. We will tend to use radians more than degrees as we move forward. Okay, cosine of 30. So here's our 30-degree angle. Our cosine is our x. So the cosine of 30 is square root of 3 over 2. Sine of 4 pi over 3. So as you get used to the radians, it's nice to kind of keep in mind that 180 degrees is pi, so 180 degrees is 3 pi over 3. So 4 pi over 3 is going to be past 180 degrees. So down here, I see my 4 pi over 3. Okay. We want the sine of 4 pi over 3. The sine is the y. And so I've got negative square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of 11 pi over 6. So 11 pi over 6 is almost to 12 pi over 6, which would be 2. So I know this is almost all the way around. Here's my 11 pi over 6. We want the cosine of 11 pi over 6, so that's our x. And we get square root of 3 over 2. What do we have next? The sine of pi. So pi is here, 180 degrees. So here's our pi. We want the sine of pi, so that's our y. I've cut off the x, but we can see that the y is 0. And then finally, on this one, cosine of pi over 2. Thinking way harder than I should about picking a color. So pi over 2 is this 90-degree angle, so straight up on the y-axis. We want the cosine of pi over 2. Cosine is our x value, so the cosine at pi over 2 is 0. Okay. Again, sine, cosine are the important ones to remember. If you know sine and cosine, you can build anything else. So let's take a look at the bottom here. Secant and cosecant. Cosecant, we remember, let's go to just one color again. Cosecant is 1 over sine. Here we're at 270. So the sine at 270, right here, -1. So we've got 1 over -1, which is -1. Secant of -270. So secant is 1 over cosine. If we're going -270, you guys, this I'm going to draw on here goes all the way back around. That's the same angle as 90 degrees. So we want 1 over the cosine at 90 is 0. So this is undefined. Okay. It's okay to have 0 in the numerator, just not the denominator. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So we're looking at 1 over the sine of 225. 1 over 225 right here, 5 pi over 4. We get negative square root of 2 over 2. I'm going to take the reciprocal of that. That's -2 over the square root of 2. When we rationalize the denominator, because we've done this one a couple of times, we get negative square root of 2.